Good evening, welcome to the show. This is a beautiful song by our own gospel artist based here in the USA. And I'm talking about Madame Newer. Let's take that law out of our hair. Good evening. What a beautiful music this evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio. And today is Sunday. That's Minister Newer. Welcome, Amanda, Michael Evans, Calvin Smith, Fred Johnson. Good evening. Welcome in the house of LPR. Florence Smith as well, Ruth Morris, and owner Sir Alice Continue. Thank you for this beautiful song. Okay, good evening, folks. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We are making plans to also have this I love this song so much. If you don't understand it, just find one crown frame, find the liberal progressive, or someone. Let's get this low off our hair. This low here, this load that is so heavy for us, this load that we cannot bear. Why are we hailing it? I'm Afonso Z, and so to be Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot is unfolding. This is LPR-TV special, and as usual, I'm here. And hopefully the panel is going to be here. Even if the panelists are not here, you are here. That is what matters. Thank you so much, Ibrahim Bangout. Happy Sunday. Hilton, Cornerstacks, happy Sunday, and all of you great people for taking off your time to be with us here this evening. Salad the drama is unfolding in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. Liberia Public Radios is keeping track of every happening in the country, and we hope to give you a fair, balanced, and proportionate conversation. Welcome to the show. I'm Afonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio. Let's get the ball rolling right here, right now. We say welcome. Thank you so much, and we will get this program going very shortly, doing a little bit housekeeping right here before we can get the program going. As usual, I have to put finishing touches together, and sometimes it takes time to do this. So just bear with us. Trust me, so we're going to have a conversation here, and you will also be part of what is happening here. Of course, we are all keeping track of what is happening inside Liberia. 141 days to go in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. This is LPR TV special this Sunday. Welcome to the show. So let's take the law of our hair here. Just share the show for us here. We're about to get a program on the way. Let's get this low off our hair by making good decisions in Liberia. The law is so much the one that can lie, the one that can steal, the one that are so corrupt, deceit, hypocrisy, everything. Let's take this law off our hair. So says the songwriter, Minister Newant, right here in the USA, Liberian gospel artist. And by the way, it is in 100% in crown. If you don't know the interpretation, ask me, ask the liberal progressive. I'm a traditionalist, and so we bring and showcase the quality and some of the goodness in our country. By the way, I thought they said all the crap we used to do how, but something I realized since the war, everybody try refine their tune. Welcome to the show. Hey, Mr. Collins, good evening. Welcome and welcome, my own friend and brother, Mr. Robert Davis, right there in Minneapolis. A long-time friend, brother, from the Ghana Special Project School. Good evening. Welcome to the show and happy Sunday to all of you. Ecnis Liberty Cabot, good evening. Welcome. Let's have a conversation. As a boy, I just see when as a boy, I know it. Oh, I know it. I know it. Oh, I know it. Papa, my oh, and what the I said. Oh my God, this law is so much heavy. The law is heavy for us. Wow, man. Minister Tanyuan, thank you so much. That's Alice Nuant that continue on to right there in Maryland area. Thank you for that beautiful song. We are making preparation to also have her here. We are not just going to be talking politics because these people, they are not even, for the most part, not all of them in the interest of fairness, but they are not doing good. They lie. They are not honest. It's all about themselves. 141 days to go to a consequential presidential elections in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. By the way, if this is the first time on this network, this is the Liberia Public Radio, LPR-TV, the network that represents the true image of our country. And this is why we keep our conversation proportional, fair, balanced. Less entertainment here because the drama is already over the board. So there's no need that we come to dramatize you. We won't do that. We don't necessarily play into your political radon. Perhaps things that you want to hear, not necessarily we talk about. Sometimes we pivot 300 to 460 degrees because there are a lot ahead. But we so much admired of you, despite our talking point does not pivot in your direction, but you continue to come here. And we so much respect and value you for that. You are welcome to engage or to disagree with us about our talking point. However, there is a hallmark of this network. Civility must be maintained at all times in terms of our English, our language, and the respect, mutual respect for one another. This is what is lacking in the country. And this is why we are at this point. We do not respect our peers. We want them to respect us. We do not respect our leaders. We want them to respect us. We can disagree with them by having a civil conversation. And that's where this roundtable conference comes in, to sort out our differences, to see where we are and how far we are going as a people, as a nation. Unfortunately, the lack of political tolerance has also helped to get us to this point. And we, radio hosts, podcast hosts, commentators, advocates, surrogates, they are all helping to facilitate this. Putting the country on edge ahead of 2023, the warning signs are glaring. That's my view. That's my opinion. Equally, you have the right to disagree with it. But I'm going to be displaying some images which are not strange to you. You have seen, you have witnessed, you have heard, and it is unfolding in real time, not in reality. These are indicators, red flags. But how many of us are waiting, or how many of us are willing to take time to have this conversation in the real context and return to baseline to address some of these issues that are facing the country? Some of us, we have forgotten so soon. It is unbelievable what I'm saying happening. However, I'm not surprised because the language, the tone, the emblems and the attitudes, the voices coming from higher up, not just on lower down, And when the voices come from the higher up of the politicians, it goes down to the recipients, those who are the lowest level. And what that does, the senders, they are telling them, go, I approve this message. Do it. I'm telling you, you support me, you have my back, I have your back, go and do it. And for the most part, those actions, those mandates are perfected in real time. So why are we doing what we are doing? Why at this time with 141 days to a consequential presidential and legislative elections in Liberia, we are not discussing the policy issue, the policy, the agenda of these politicians, what they represent, the alternative, what they hope to bring to the table. News anchor, facilitator, radio, podcast hosts are all involved because they find interest in it. They are being compromised. They become friends to the politicians. Of course, you can be friends with them, but there must be a fine line drawn. You listen to some of them tone, their language tells you exactly how much they intend to influence the process in Liberia. And that is so sad. And politicians themselves are buying into it. It resonates with them. They avoid them talking the issue. They create the already unfolding drama in the country. And we, the electors, Liberian, in and out, embrace this sort of ridiculous and absurd situation that could and potentially have the propensity to degenerate the country. And we will say it as it is. And this brings me to this song, this law here. How can we get this law off? Ladies and gentlemen, to welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Zienso, and this is today's editions of LPR-TV Live with the panelists. The panelists are here in full to discuss, dissect, and critical issues affecting. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome our own men in the provincial areas of Zordru Grand County. Gabriel Duty is also in this business of Peace FM in the hometown of the liberal progressive Samson Bloku Branto, the guy from Totan, the most liberal on this network. Welcome to the show. We're going to open these phone lines here and have a conversation here this evening. You are at liberty to disagree with my talking point. Engage your peers. We encourage civility where it would be good for the good of our country. So, putting the country on edge ahead of 2023, the warning sounds are glaring. How we got to this point? I am not too surprised. That's how the country has found herself, and that's the kind of conversation that entice, that motivate us. Whether it is in a real time, is in a good sense, I have no idea. But from what I do know, this is not a conversation that will help us if it does continue the way we find it to be. We saw what happened today at the edifice of Nima County Senator Prince Yomint Johnson. And I'm wondering, so I'm trying to wrap this thing around my head. Why this went on? who was or who are the counsel to the vice president, the sitting vice president of the Republic of Liberia. This is what you get when politicians at the higher up unleash their attack on the opponents or people who they disagree with. Trust me, you're going to get more ugly as we approach the real days ahead. Coming from the second higher office of the land, validate the argument that many others want to follow suit, because what that does, it releases, it gives them full support. Go and administer this. I give you my support and we stand with you. Why should it be that way? I don't understand why a sitting government will try to undermine herself in whatever way when they should be keeping the message and telling or asking the Liberian people why they deserve this next sixth term of their leadership. Instead, the vice president on Capitol Hill opened a wound, opened the scenarios where potential chaos has been invited. And I have no doubt folks like Sibyl, Akaras Gray, and many others will potentially execute those mandates. This reminds me of the days of the late Samuel Kanyendo. When Maxwell Kabar, my own former boss at the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication, he was the youth chair of the National Democratic Party of Liberia. This is a set of same star that we see unfolding in real time, not a reality. Kabar used to go down to the borders, getting Sierra Leonean people all over to come to do the dirty work of then the ruling establishment, the National Democratic Party of Liberia. This is the footprint, this is the model being deployed and being executed to see the sitting vice president of the Republic of Liberia unhinged, getting the market range out. We're going to be having this conversation real time here. Well, they are coming and they're going to be giving their side of the conversation. I am Afonso Zienso. I am the chief anchor facilitator. Trust me, we're going to be opening these lines to give your view. What they did today, it just validates. I 100% disagree with this sort of titles and stuff or with Prince Johnson. But what they did today, they have edified his argument from time to time and suggesting and telling the Nehemians that without me, you will not be counted in the political discourse of our country. That's what happens today. We're going to come to this here and break it in real time. But joining me from the ocean state of Rhode Island is a senior contributor, senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio, still undecided. I'm not sure what with this scenario unfolded today will make him to decide. I have no idea. At some point in time, language go in the directions of Joseph Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka, sometimes Alexander Benedict Cummings, CDC, that I don't know. Sometimes give credit to Tia Say Gongo. That does not suggest he either there. So who is he? Is he one of the progressive? Well, we're going to have a conversation. Let me bring in Mr. John Mallet Otavia. It's a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio, joining me from the ocean state of Rhode Island. So, Jones, what you need to do, just adjust your camera here so we know who you are and what you represent. Good evening and welcome to the show. As usual, this is something we should be relaxing, keeping time, having time with family, and doing something. But in the interest of our country, this is what we signed up for. Good evening. How was your Sunday today? I didn't even go to church. You won't believe. I can say it right there on air because we're trying to meet the American dream. But I'm also glued to what is happening in the motherland of Liberia. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Moderator. I also didn't go to church today. I had some overhanded things done. But anyway, be, be it as it is, the dream package is a very big package.
Yes.
And it depends on what size of the dream you chasing. Some people chase the medium side, the small side, and the very large side,
Right.
Hmm.
But I learned something here. Okay, to all our viewers and listeners in Radio Land, thank you. If this is the first time joining us, if this is the first time on this network, please don't be disappointed because sometimes our talking point does not necessarily go your way. We try to do it in the interest of the liberalization policy and to return to baseline and be able to focus so that we can make informed decisions. You are at liberty to disagree with us, but don't go away. Probably it might not work in your interest tonight, but who knows? Tomorrow, the next day could favor you. So, Jones, let's have a conversation here. 141 days to go in
Yep,
Liberia.
yep,
You, as an expert public relations, it is quite interesting to see what is happening in Liberia. So,
yep.
let me do a take here. What the heck is going on here? I'm forced to use this sort of word here because I just don't get it. I try to figure out what is happening, the distraction, and it's just too much. What's going on? What are you gathering?
Well, during the political season time in Liberia, a whole lot is being unfolded, and coincidentally, we have got the news, social news platform now on the back of the whole system, on the back of politicians, so it's like almost a three-way street right now, from the
Hmm.
politician back to their members, and from the members back to us, and from us back to our viewers and our listeners and our well-wishers. So it's like this is the season. This is the political season right now, and we will have to address it as uh, the information unfold itself.
Is the
So now,
season? Is the
yeah.
season? Is it working? Is it educative to us? Is it informative? Is it doing all well overall?
Well, given the nature of our politics and given the nature of this type of season, it depends on who you talk to. If you're talking to the seditious, they will say they are benefiting right now. If you talk to the Kumi and his congregation, you will say we're making airways. If you talk to the rest of the opposition, they will tell you that they are optimistic, and come October 10th, they're going to seize the executive action. When it comes to the social media, the only thing we got to offer here is to make our analysis and let the public be the judge. But I think in some sense, things are working. At least the VPs that we've been talking about, at least I think they're coming up now. And the next thing, I think they're coming to hit the campaign trail. And for now, I want to believe strongly everyone is strategizing now what to do. And I was just told yesterday that Joseph Boakai is already in Bomi County, and he even spent the night there. And
Hmm.
this was from a reliable source from the Joseph Boakai's camp. So that is a clear indication now that this election is not taken for granted. And I even watched one of the social media platform, and I saw His Excellency President George Weah leading a huge congregation of singing supporters. Yes, in fact, he was at the forefront of that singing congregation. I said, "Oh my God, it's heating up." Yep.
Is that something that kind of like stimulate build his political stimulations? Because we saw that, and the was yeah, was it today? The images I saw the dedication at the sports complex, West Point, or is that West Point or Newtown somewhere? Did you see that?
Yes.
And they were playing that song. That song was the one that turned the corners around because people get glued to something in different ways.
Yes.
2017. I'm not sure what I'm going to move in this direction here. That was another thing. The president on the other side carrying a dedication. We have another group of people on the other side say today, no church, no preaching. You can't preach because this is why you promise you're going to do to our political leader. So let me just here. So there's no preaching. So that is quite fascinating to see what is happening here. But
Yes.
let's come to that because that's the cardinal point. That's the news making. I try to process this here. Why, uh, with the vice president, the sitting vice president of the country, will be the one chief architect to initiate this sort of a what could have been a potential violence. You have a lot to lose, first and foremost. That's why you need to be very strategic. Prince Johnson is just a senator. You
Yeah.
are a sitting government. You are the number two person by virtues of our constitution. And so if there were to be any civil disobedience, your government would be the first to be victimized. And this thing is it just doesn't happen overnight. We saw what happened at Capitol the other day. And Johnson tweeted that he was going to respond. And in a bid to stop him from responding, something happened. But in the interest of fairness, those that didn't see it and those that saw it here, let's put it into context and give it a conversation. This is Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, the head of the Senate, the number two person by virtue of our Constitution, speaking to supporters. It reminds me when Donald Trump is on the other end there talking to his base, there's special language that he speaks. And those are things that these people they would like to hear.
Yeah.
And CDC is a movement, it's an organization, it's an institution by itself. And I'm one of those has frowned on these the presence of these militias that are being embedded into all our political institutions. So let's welcome our own Dr. Joyce Toto, is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio, back and fresh from Liberia. I know my man Joyce said with all the fresh organic food from Bone County and other places. Dr. Toto, good evening and welcome to the show as well. Thank you. We good to have you back here. Let me just see here to do some. Let me see here. All right. Did I throw him out? Dr. Toto, your camera off. Let me put you off and see whether you can come on. It'll look like I caused trouble here. I don't want to be like a deliberate. Okay, he will wait and come. So, well, I don't know. You know, it reminds me, I was just talking about D. Maswakaba, the former Minister of Post and Telecommunication. He was the youth chairman for then the NDPL during the days of Samuel Doe. Some of these tactics just go out there, grab any group of people and do whatever they can do. Most likely, similarly, this is what we see happening. Is the CDC, are they saying without Nathaniel Magee, the president of the CDC cannot triumph? Well, we have seen that. George Howard Taylor, Akara Gray, and many others have been leading this onslaught here. Is that a good strategy? Before we get to those tape, I'm waiting to see whether Dr. Toto can come back. Is that a workable strategy?
Well, given the nature of our political scenario and our political platform in Liberia, to be very sincere with you, Mr. Moderator, I don't think it's a very good strategy. And let us not forget, it was just, I think, a month or two ago when we signed this so-called Farmington Declaration to keep this election out of the corridor of political violence. And I don't think we signed that document for election day. No, we did not sign that document for election day. We signed that document henceforth from that day going forward to observe all non-political activity and do away with these things. So what the vice president did is a recipe. It's a recipe. And the vice president is the number 2 in Liberia. You know, Mr. Moderator, there are times, sometimes when you're doing something, even you're the father in the house. Sometimes when you're doing something, you ask yourself 3 questions. Or how will my children feel about this? Or how will my wife feel about this? Or my friends, how would they feel about this? So it's like you put yourself in certain category and judge yourself. You see, I watched that thing at the parliament, and I don't know whether the loyalty or the what, but it didn't go down well with me. And so I begin to think, what are those things that are in the Farmington Declaration? What are they? Are they only for the October 10th election? Or what are they? Because you realize that even our speeches can enact violence. You see, and how we program our members can also result into violence. And sometimes some of the things we insinuate on, it can even result into violence. You see what happened to Prince Johnson Church today? It didn't look good. And I expected the sedition hurricane to speak to that. Because this is how political violence start gradually. It start to grow. And my fear here is that the election, if we don't care, if we don't take care, it's going to be marked by severe political violence in Liberia. This is how it starts. And up to now, I have not seen any hurricane speaking to this issue. You see, it's something to really worry me. So assuming what happened in Parliament, assuming all the political parties go to Parliament and want to do the same thing, that's going to be chaotic. You see, yes.
So this comes to the point, we'll be having this conversation here. I'm one of those frown on this group Solidarity Brigade, this brigade, where these militias. I don't know, it has just become a sort of factions into the political process in Liberia. Because we are in modern time, we are in different things. We have to see the chamber where men and women who represent us, whether we agree with them, we disagree with them, but they represent the interests of the Liberian people. That's the first branch of government to see it being swarmed. It's almost like a Proud Boys taking over Capitol Hill here the other day. Yeah. Oppositions, they did theirs. CDC came back and did it. So they are diminishing the integrity of that building. Don't you think so?
No. I will agree with you 100%. Because I don't know what justification with seditions and the operatives we have to tell the Liberian people. I really want to see the justification. You see, because Joy Howard Taylor, once she in that building, she in her capacity as the vice president of the Republic of Liberia. If this thing were held, if this demonstration or the pledge of loyalty was held at her residence, well, that's a different thing. I could refer to her as Joy Taylor, bringing her members together to pledge their loyalty in some form. But once you enter that building, you are a member of parliament. You are a product of the Republic of Liberia. And so anything that goes wrong will hold you accountable politically. You see? So she was in her capacity as a vice president when that happened. So my question now is, what is the justification? This is the question that has been bothering my mind since I watched that scenario unfold at the Capitol building. Yes.
I remember a couple of years ago, I had an opportunity to sit with Vice President Joy Howard Taylor, and that was weird for a sitting vice president, which itself the position is a political position. At that time, the relationship with she and the president or the party itself was a fragile one. But the vice president of the government said, I do not want to talk politics. And I said, why? He said, well, it's not feasible at this time. More or less, I want to focus on my foundations. And all of the surrogates, many of whom I know, that wasn't, it was unusual. But the tone, the language has changed. or how this all began to get to this point today. Who initiated this and why? So we're going to do a backtracking to bring our guys to up to speed. To bring our guys up to speed to see what's look like. Courtesy of some of the sister network in Liberia and right of our folks. Let's see the origins, the beginnings of this, and how we got to this point here. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Let's take a little bit backtrack how we got to this point. Let me just remove you here in the meantime. And let's see here. Okay. So, all right, since you're back here, let me just bring you in and we're going to roll this tape. We're seeing it been playing out there. Let's see, and then we can have a conversation because I have no idea why this is going to be here. When politicians speak, you listen to them. They won't say a certain thing, but the language they use, their actions give mandate to their supporters, their attack doors, their surrogate. Go ahead, you have my blessing. Let's watch this on Capitol Hill recently.
So I just want to add one question on your question. God forbid people elect Vice President, White House President. Who will be president? So we're going to make president?
Let's stop there. God forbid. That's the sitting vice president talking to the former vice president. God forbid if he dies. They know that he's sick, whatever he's saying. Who are they making president? Let's keep rolling the tape and then we're going to have a conversation.
When you are choosing a vice president, be careful. And you need loyalty. You need somebody that will support you.
Thank you. My name is Jimmy. Do the introduction.
My name is Peter Sekachiko Bliri Jr., the National Vice Chair of Press and Propaganda, ABB Youth Council. I'm here with former Adelaide Jimmy Tobe. Jimmy Tobe is the Secretary General of the MPP Youth Council. We here because Senator Prince Johnson gave our open invite to be here. He invited us. He invited the MPP here. We are here to watch over him politically. Only to the fact that he said that you're going to use this day to verify our political leader. And because of that, we've come gallantly. We are MPP people. We don't fight a war. We are a war. We fight intellectual war. And today, it's a historic day that we are here with gallant men and women from the Dominable National Patriotic Party and the coalition alliance. So we are here to discuss issues related to our appointed us here.
You were there. It's not something I'm telling you. I only want to overemphasize what we also have a hoodlums, hooligans from the MPP, driver teller. From what I heard, one of them say a driver teller who instructed them and who coach it to come and disrupt the church, fight us, and warn the people. I am the target. I tell you something. Few days ago, I was sitting on my post, and the security came to me to say, I won't call the name, the one outside wanting to see me urgently. It was about 5 something. I came from session very late on Tuesday. And I said, but then he come back tomorrow, because Wednesday there's no job. I won't go to the capital. He said, no, I must see you now. So I said, let him come in. He came in. He said, beep for your security. There's a straight order from Joao Taylor, there wasn't Koji, to hit on you to knock you down. I said to him, assassinate me? He said, don't call my name. That's the plan.
Okay. So here we are. Here we are. The vice president set the dinner table
Yep.
and say, guys, go ahead. And they said they are going there to what? To worship. We know the history of NPP. Even the unborn now begins to know the history of NPP. And their attire, I've said this over and over, it's a reflection. This gives bad memories. We know what people wore those days, the uniform type, the color, and the aftermath of those things, those stuff that they are wearing, which of course, fair to mention, both oppositions and the government doing that. And that's even bring into question how you want to be different because the people you want to remove, they are doing the same thing, and everybody have this sort of malicious group, uh, their language toned, violent type as well. So I'm wondering, why would the vice president, in the first place, Prince Johnson said he was going to respond. Has he responded? He has not. So why they decided to go there, even if he was responding? For God's sake, you are a sitting government. Do you know the language of violence more than Prince Johnson? Do you know the tone of violence more than Prince Johnson? If violence were to break out today, what would become your government? Would that be you and Prince Johnson, Senator Prince Johnson? Who would be the victim and who would be the victor? Your government will be in disarray. International community or whoever going to come in, and that's going to be the collapse of the government. So is Prince Johnson, do you see him to look like, do you see him like a person to intimidate when it comes to violence? I experienced Prince Johnson before my very eyes at the free port of Monrovia following the death of Samuel Doe. You heard him saying, I will go back. If anything, I will go sit in Nema. When you touch me, people, there's no questions about that. Now, their actions, what they did today, initiated by Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, just validate the argument of Prince Johnson, whether people like it or not, that without me, the Nemayans, you undercut some of the good things and perhaps chipping the vote away. Because after that, I talked to folks, Circuit PA and other places today, I found that the reaction is becoming a mixed reaction. I don't know why they decided to do that. Why sort of politics? Okay, I think Dr. Toto is back now. Thank God, at least I've seen the image. Okay, Dr. George Toto, political analyst, Liberia Public Radio, one of the progressive, strong supporter of Councilor Tiawan Gongo. I know you're back here, then somebody can call me and say, oh, Dr. Toto were in the church there today. I say, please, Dr. Toto, not in the church. Dr. Toto, not in the church there. Okay, Doug, good evening and welcome back. Welcome from Liberia. How was the trip? We're going to shift the conversation a little bit. How was the trip?
I mean, the trip was okay. What I can just say, Liberia is Liberia, there are a lot of social and financial, economic challenges everywhere.
Yeah.
But one good thing, the people are very strong. They are hoping to overcome the challenges no matter how which way it is, but you can see hope in their eyes.
Yeah.
That's part of the challenges.
Okay, let's get to what we signed off for. I'm quite sure you saw the images here, and I'm wondering, I'm kind of like a little bit burning within to see why a sitting government in any way would try to undermine herself. Usually, when these things are happening, they use their surrogate, they use their attack doors. But when you see those are the higher up, when their voices, when they escalate and amplify their voices, that is a full mandate to telling the people who and the way we are in support. And the sitting vice president, Dr. Joy Howard Taylor, has opened this womb. And the possibility of a continuing to the end of the elections is more or less imminent. let's have a conversation here. Mally Jones, I believe you are burning with aim. Where are we heading as a people, as a country, as a nation? What could one predict this coming election? Seeing what we're seeing in the early stages, when we are not talking about their development, infrastructure policy, their economic policy, their health policy, their education policy, and how they're going to put food on the Liberian people table. Heavy distraction is being inserted into the politics of Liberia. Where are we heading as a people, as a country?
Well, first I want to welcome Dr. Tutu back to his second home, and it's like we've got multiple homes in these wars, and that's a good thing. But here is my take. I don't know what Her Excellency, the Vice President, was already thinking about, but here is my take. First of all, she has put her own personal security in disrepute. That's the first thing. Two, she has even narrowed her ability to go to Nima County and campaign. That's the second thing. Thirdly, with all due respect to her office, she had just abused her office as a vice president. Because when you enter that building, you become a material, an asset of the Republic of Liberia. And so we approach you in that capacity. So that was one of the gross mistakes that the vice president ever made, to allow those kind of scenario.
Are you seeing her action in isolation?
Well, I may not read the tea leaf or neither read her mind, but I think it was carefully organized. It was carefully organized. I want to believe it was not by coincidence. No. But again, you know, in politics and even in communication, you got to be mindful with a name calling. You got to be mindful with your political adjective at times when you're addressing your congregation. Even though we know you will be overzealous, you will be highly enthusiastic, but you got to be careful with the language. That two things the vice president said about the VP, Joseph Boakai, be wishing him death by coincidence. It was not practical, it was not necessary. Vice versa, by her death, Prince Johnson will become president of Nima. That is just setting the stage for early violence being introduced in the whole electioneering process by Her Excellency, the Vice President.
Okay, let me hold you there. The house is crowded and now the train is about to derail. Amos George from the far right of Atlanta, a strong supporter of the Alternative National Congress, ANC, is in us. Happy Sunday, Amos George. Were you in church in Prince Johnson Church today? You just got back, 747 brought you in or what?
No, I would never go to that church.
You were what?
I would never go to that church.
You would never go there? Is what? God presence not there?
What a God presence there? Everybody said the person not go, but I said I won't go to that church.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay,
Dr. Toto, let me just bring you. Two things happening here simultaneously. The actions of the seditions orchestrated, facilitated, and authorized by the vice president. That's my own word. You can take it for whatever reason.
Allegedly.
But what they have done, well, okay, I'm not going to use allegedly. The action was perfected. I mean, the people, the folks that they said they were going. No, listen, you agree. They said because their leader are going to be vilified, so they were going there. Anyway, that's not much important here. But what happens now too? They have elevated the importance and the challenger, Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka, to see him and the Unity Party to be the more challenger now into this area. Dr. Toto, let me bring you into this fry here. When you saw those images, the vice president speaking in Chima the other day, connecting with, if God forbid, Joseph Boyka we come and make Prince Johnson president. No, and all of that. What was going through? I'm wondering what Van investigated and those folks that I know was. Do you think the vice president got a consultation with a council? And that's what I see that is lacking within our politician. One day a leader, they don't. If they have a advisor, I'm not sure whether they take any advice for them or they are the one that just say yes. Everything is yes. Nobody raised their finger to question their decision-making process. Do you think the actions, what the vice president was saying in chamber, that is in isolation?
I don't think so. First of all, this vice president, it just this other incident just escalate to kind of get media attention. But we all know the history of this vice president. For the onset of the regime, when the regime came in power, you saw how the vice president had made a whole lot of reckless statements before. You know, that this is the time to eat. She made all these allegations before. You know, so she has some history, some historical connection. When it comes to a statement today, it's kind of pre-planned or even planned. So she does not just jump off and just make a statement whether she may counsel or she may have advised or she do exactly what she's trying to do. Even her statement and answer in the chamber in attacking or GMB. This is the same vice president that said some time ago that she was obeying tradition. She went to GMB, but GMB to bless her. You know, she bowed down on her GMB feet. And then all of a sudden she has a U-turn again to come and make all these allegations statement against or GMB. And one good thing about our society. When people say these things, people don't come up rather want to condemn them for this statement, especially those that are responsible, those that are supposed to try to maintain the peace. Just in case when an incident break up, those people that make all the people to peace talk, those especially the Liberia Council of Church and Liberia religious or organization, those are our key institutions in Liberia, you know, that they are trying to hold on to our democracy to make sure that we function very well. So when these things happen, they are very silent. They don't come out to condemn the act and to call the people that are responsible for the act. They rather keep quiet. When you reach to a certain stage, you see everybody coming out to condemn or to talk about it. Look at what happened to Prince Johnson Church today. So if at all those who are not going to Prince Johnson Church today or nothing will happen, we just let it slide on the road again. But there's a dangerous precedent and it's not safe for Liberia.
The background, no, I don't know where it comes from. Yeah, but go ahead.
There's a dangerous precedent. There's a background. There's a dangerous precedent for Liberia, especially for we have a fragile democracy. Each time we talk about it, people say we shouldn't say fragile. Liberia is a time bomb. I was in Liberia just last week, and I went up country, and I'm in Monrovia. If you go up, if you see how drugs are taking all Liberia, you'll cry for young people, especially young people that are roaming up and down doing nothing. The people our disadvantaged brothers to go to the Zoko, they have increased. And those are people when anything happens in that country, they want to hold arm will be a general state for that country. And people making all the political righteous statements in there, and people to condemn them. People that make this statement should be who are accountable for this statement because if anything happens in Liberia, it will be a bloodbath, and we don't want to see Liberia return to the 90s again. So the vice president, people should condemn her for the statement she made, and people should be accountable for anything happening in our country.
Okay, let's get Amos George in the Sunday talking point here. Amos George, good evening, welcome, happy Sunday.
Yeah, thank you to all of you.
You want to church today?
No.
Why?
Is that only to make me Christian by going to church?
I don't know what I say. I just asked you a simple question.
I told you. You said why? I said, is that only to make me Christian by going to church?
I am the question. I am asking the question. Now you asking the question.
Well, I feel that going to church is that only Let me answer the question by going to church. I feel that it's not only to make me Christian.
You can't answer a question. You can't be proud with me. And I'm Joel. I want to do a Prince Johnson. Okay, let's leave that. Let's leave that maybe I think a little bit stuff again. And you know, we are talking about his daughter from Bon County, so maybe a little bit about our data. Okay, but Pajoy, let's bring you into this here. I'm still trying to process why someone literally undermining their own establishment, their own government. I mean, that's how I see it. I could be wrong, but I mean, there's a way that you can attack. But now, what you say, what you mentioned in Chimers lead to that. What happens for God forbid if Prince Johnson's own loyalists or supporters were there and there was some sort of physical exchange or whatever thing can happen? Prince Johnson is Prince Johnson, regardless of his age. You are making reference to his age. Prince Johnson knows violence more than Joel Howard Taylor, period. Prince Johnson knows the consequences of violence more than Vice President Joel Howard Taylor. Joel Howard Taylor does not need to educate or intimidate Prince Johnson in the violent tone. You heard him saying he's not going anywhere. If anything, he will go sit down in Nima. What worries on is their action now today. That's my view. That's my analysis. Kind of little validate all the argument and the soundbite, the red meat Prince Johnson has been successful putting out there. Without me, Nimayans, you are dead. You will not be counted in society. It is because of me. This is what you are respected. And I talked to folks after that today. Nimat, the Ganta, the Secle PA is creating a different conversation there today. Let's get your take. Why would they do? Why? How this thing happen? Who authorized those guys to show up there?
Well, let me say this. Joel Howard Taylor and the life of CDC. These people don't care about Liberians' life. They don't care. But let me drill on Joel Howard Taylor a little bit. Joel Howard Taylor don't care about anybody. When Joel Howard assumed the vice president position, she went to Bon County and told the people, if you don't join us, I will fire you people. I will fire you. And she delivered on that message. It's on tape. The next time was, if you don't join me to join this man, who should be president, I will tell him to take his development from there and carry somewhere else. It's on tape. It's on tape. So that's one action. It's not an isolation. What she said in the Capitol, she should not have even said that. You can criticize someone not even calling their names. You can criticize people, you don't have to call their name, but your audience know, the listening public know who you're talking to. So here is the thing I'm saying, these people don't care. Prince Johnson, we all know, we don't have to talk about Prince Johnson history, we know. Why would you people send, let's just send people to his church? That is a private property, first thing. That is a private property. Why they will send people, and they just send people on his premises to do what? To do what? To orchestrate violence? Because these people, what I'm saying, that they don't care. They have people to guide them. When Harold Beverly, they will send to a Freeport and say, you take 250 bags or 500 bags and put it in my warehouse. The other Liberian who does not have a meal for a day will be left to struggle. Why there will be there people guiding them, having 3 meals a day, their family are enjoying. Do they think of the consequence of their actions? No, they don't care. If they were care, they would not be behaving like this. And this is the same thing I have said over and over about the same CDC, their government. This is the hallmark. It's not stranger. When Alexander County Yakakoba went to Grand Judea, the CDC folks attacked him. Jefferson Kochi had led a group of young men, July 26th, Walter Cecil to death, almost to death. Nothing came out of it. They had gone, Yakakoba, Christmas party, an assistant minister led a group of young men to attack the main party with children. Nothing came out of it. This is a recipe for disaster. But when someone was talking, people say, we don't like George Weah. We don't like the government. But if it happened on the other side, then they'll start yelling. This is not right. It's irresponsible, regular statement by the VP. And here is the saddest thing. All this thing that goes on. When I talk, people say this, but George Weah is responsible for these things.
Is that a president? Is that a president?
Yeah.
Okay.
The president is responsible.
The conversation, not to interrupt you, the conversation is about to get interesting. A strong supporter of the ruling establishment will be on with us. Carry on, and then I'm going to have him to introduce himself.
Why I'm saying this? President Weah is the chief, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia. He has people that work directly with him that are responsible for these things. All these things that happen, the Minister of Justice, the police, we have not, if anybody can prove me wrong, so tell me how many of these people who misbehave have ever been taken to court to be fully prosecuted to the full extent of the law, that they will bear some penalty. Let someone show me one saying on George Weah. Because people do this thing and get away with impunity. The message is sent to other people is you can do it and get away with it because the government will not prosecute you. We are for the government. And this is what I'm saying. A person we are. This peace ambassador talk about he's peaceful. He's not peaceful.
Okay.
Because what is going on today in Liberia is not, it didn't just start today. Same person we are in power. I just listed you few of instances that are happening. Let me just close on the note. And I said to this to everybody, the Capitol building is a political house. We understand that. If people want to honor a senator, I think they can go to the senator office and do her honorary program. But you take the entire side and put them in a hall to honor persons. Those people are on taxpayer money, dime. We pay them. And you take them from that function.
Quickly here, before I go to the phone line, who initiated all of this? Who gave birth to this whole thing?
That was Dillon and the Nyomli Kanga.
Why they did that? Okay.
Because these are things I'm talking about. Irresponsible people behaving like they are the political guru now of Liberia. Rescue.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Joining us on the line is a strong supporter of the GOL. Kev Hassan is on the line. Kev, good evening.
How about you, sir? How are you guys doing?
Good evening. Well, this is LPR. In the interest of fairness, we do not sanction voices. All voices must be heard, whether we agree or disagree, and help us to understand here because we are making I am making judgmental. Somebody started it, but the vice president created a soundbite, and listening to those guys say, well, we learned that you're going to vilify our leaders, so we are here to worship with you. That wasn't worshiping clothes they had on there, those berets and stuff like that. That more or less sounds something. But let's get aside that we don't know. Kev Hassan, you saw those images today from Prince Johnson's church?
Yes, I saw the images, and my question to everybody on the panel, I've been struggling for people to actually tell me what was the crime they committed. What was the crime they commit? I want to know that Prince Johnson put out a post. He said, "Everybody welcome." He was not saying only people of the MDR or UP. He said, "Everybody welcome." They went there. Some disagree with him. All I saw was placard, and I saw people with the people chanting, singing. That's all. I think it was a few people, not even 50. I think it was 30 people, 35. But what I'm hearing around, if I was somewhere and
Is that
hear
is that a question?
everything I heard on
No,
the
no, hold
media
on. So
today,
let's do it one at a time, guys. Go
yeah,
ahead.
everything I heard on the media today, it sounds like the guys went in the church and they brutalized people in the church. It was just few guys who were singing outside and were just chanting and say, "Oh
Okay,
no, we oppose."
yeah, let's see. I guess we're watching here. Let's show some of what happens today, and I'm going to use the probability if that is also applicable. If we can, we have that here. Let's watch this here. Cut us here.
So, folks, you are watching. This is something that is on.
Okay, Kev.
Yeah.
That was not a praise and worship song. Do you think it was a praise and worship song?
Let me say this. Prince Johnson used his pulpit as a place of spewing a lot of things, accusing the president of wanting to kill him, accusing other people, talking about war crime court, talking about the war. He used his pulpit for as a political arena. So he said, "I will answer the vice president when I go to church." So he was going to answer in a political manner. So when group of Liberians, because they belong to the NPP, went there and said, "Look, we want war crime court." You chant it. We see that every day around the world. Nothing happened. That's freedom. They never went into the church. They were outside. Few guys just chanting. But everything I'm listening to is like.
Why you don't like to come online? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Nothing. That's the right. That's the right under our constitution, under Article 17. That's the right.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question. If this happened to George Manuel Weah Church and people chanting, you know what the opposition would say? That's the right. They need to do. They're free to do that.
Okay. So then let me throw a question back at you.
I'm just confused what everybody's saying. Like Prince Johnson. We're talking about Prince Johnson here.
So let's not get confused. Ego, you let the cat out of the bag. So, Kev, if a group of oppositions, whether from oppositions or other activists, I am one of those not in support of these sort of proliferations of these militias. It causes a lot of distractions into it. If a group of people were to go out and turn out tomorrow at the edifice of the president's church or Focus Church, and the president say, "I'm going to be speaking tomorrow," and a group of people goes out there today, step down, Mr. President, or chanting whatever song, what do you think going to be the repercussions, or what could be, how do you think it's going to be processed? I would frown on it as well.
No, listen. The president will not do anything. Some people will not like it, but that's the right as a Liberian. You remember the students that went on the road when the president motorcade were coming, and the president stopped, and they diverted the motorcade to a different place. You remember all those things? You remember the women that went to the president's office under the rain and lied down on the ground, and the president called them in? all this thing happening, opposition praised it. Opposition praised those students. Imagine they took those students and put them on the road, children, and put them on the road.
Equivalent to what
his vehicle.
Equivalent to what we are talking about now. Why, if they were going to worship, why they couldn't go in the church itself to be part of what they were doing?
Well, I applaud them for not going to the church, because if other people would stand up and say this and that, but if you don't like what a pastor saying, you're free to come out and just say, I disagree. Or I saw they disagree and call for war crime code.
Okay, hold on. Let me hold you. Let me hold you.
How we explain like something like it was a doomsday today. No.
Okay. All right. Hold your peace. I will come back to you. Want to be? Is that Wilton Ketter on the line?
Yes.
Why you don't?
Why you don't come on the screen?
That fast too. Okay. Hold fire that. We're going to have a conversation, guys. Let's make it proportional, fair, balanced. Let me go back to the panelists. Ketter, I'm going to be coming to you. You are one of our panelists here and strong supporter of the ruling party, the CDC. So, Dr. Toto.
Yeah.
Kev is making reference to some of the instances that happened, and when the woman show up before the president was frown on it, when people said they're going to storm the president convoy, in as much they think they can do those things, we feel that's not the way to address it. But Kev is saying no crime is committed. No one was. I heard Prince Johnson saying people. I don't know. I've not heard any police report that I cannot validate. Kev is making the argument that no wrong was done. Am I quoting you right, Kev?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
I want anybody to show me any image showing that the stone was thrown, they lay hands on anybody. Not to be fact, it's few guys, I think they were under 30 or even under 20 guys
20%.
for this champion.
Okay. Let me break it. Okay, Dr. Toto, your reaction?
Yeah, I think let me welcome Kev to the show tonight. I think Kev trying to miss the information by talking about no crime was committed. First of all, if you look at the way in which the MPF or partisan or / CDC appear there today, first of all, they have one of the panelists there. These are pre-Johnson institutions, a private institution, and they went there, they disrupted the service. And even though there were those who thrown, but you could hear their reaction, the word they were expressing, it was either more of violence, and then letting Prince Johnson that if Prince Johnson ever make a statement against their leader, will come after him. So these are things that open the door for violent chaos in the country. And that's why we're talking about while physically they may not attack anybody, we don't know yet. We don't have a clear evidence for the police report, which we hope to come on one of these days that there was a rock thrown or people were targeted there. But you can see the path at which they took, it could lead to a violent and the peace process, and that's why we are discussing.
Okay. Malik, you want to respond? Emma Jordan, I'll go to Ketter.
Yes.
Nothing wrong was done. We make story out of no news.
Mr. Hassan, I know you are a diehard, but I think a very good diehard who's supposed to be in the interest of the president should be able to be very objective and tell what it is and what it is. There's something in politics called political provocation and political intimidation. While it's true that I agree with you, Article 17 gave the right to anyone to demonstrate and exercise, their own freedom. Equally so, you also spoke about the issue of crime. Crime It's not only physical, it can be psychological. What happened today, it was provocation. It would have resulted into something very, 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 very ugly. I think this is where I am coming from as a panelist. You don't provoke a situation. First, look at the timing. The timing was very wrong. Secondly, look at the origin. It started from the Capitol building with your vice president. With all due respect to her office, with all due respect to her excellency.
No, I think it started with the opposition. They started that rally, and then the vice president.
Well, I don't have evidence whether it started with Dara, but I saw people down there. I saw her statement. I'm holding her legs to her utterances. The utterances led.
Here to bring you everything that is.
The utterances led to the kind of a chaotic exercise. Why it's true that, yes, no one was harmed. Yes, I didn't see stone going, but it was provocative. It was intimidating. And it would have resulted into something very uncontrollable today. And if I were a diehard in the CDC, I will condemn this to the fullest. And don't forget, we just signed the Farmington Declaration. All right? So I don't know. My question to you is that this, what I saw today, is outside the framework of the Farmington Declaration? That's my question to Mr. Hassan.
Okay. Before I go to Kev, Pa George, let's do it. Go ahead.
Let me say this. Kev, how you doing? You come out here to spade his lies. Your president, when not standing on the pulpit here, chair when he said he did so XYZ for Dallas Dillon. Your president was not here church edifice when he said that Yega Koba did not come on the home. The list go on that the president has stood on the pulpit to criticize other people who disagree with him. Nobody had gone to his edifice. The church is not a public facility. You can go to a church and they can ask you to leave that premises. It's a private premises. That's not a private. It's not government money that built that edifice for Prince Johnson. That is a private worship place. So you cannot just go there and disturb. It's not a ground for demonstration. You stand outside of the premises, nobody, that's a public street, nobody will hammock you. But when you enter the premises of a church, it becomes a private place and they can ask you to leave based on your conduct. It happened in America here. So get that clear. What was demonstrated today by your slide CDC folks, this is what people are inviting. And you are not in Liberia today. You sit there in the comfort of your home and say it is an expression, the Constitution guarantees that. But you will remember that the freedom of expression comes with responsibility. Where your rest stops is where the next man own begins. If I came to your house or to your business place, you ask me to leave, I will leave because it is your premises. So let us draw that line, draw the distinction between public place and people places of worship. If they say everybody are welcome, if you go there, you have to maintain yourself. If you misbehave, they will ask you. It is not a public park. Even if you go to the public park, you misbehave, the police will come and ask you to leave. So that
all right, let me go to
everybody. So let me just close on this note. You can defend the government. It's what you pay to do, is what you are loyal to. But there are many Liberians whose life, if something would have gone wrong, you would have been able to protect your people. But there are others who cannot provide security for the people. So just be mindful.
Thank you, Josh. Let me go to Connecticut. Kev, I'm going to be coming to you. Is our own LPR-TV analyst, Wharton Keto, who also supports the GOL. Keto, good evening. Happy Sunday.
Thank you, Brother So, and thank you to the rest of the panelists. Welcome, Kev. I've been following the conversation for a little bit now. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, I guess you've been, or you want to settle down here, you wish to respond now. Let me listen to your colleagues here for a little while. Do you wish to respond now, or I should put a caveat?
Yeah, let me just throw something in there. I think people getting so stir up here. This is not the first time that such thing has happened in the capital in the country. And I'm not going to say that because I'm trying to do quick for that. When the president spent I think 40 some odd days outside, he came back when he went to the church. I think on Venus Chapel, the demonstrators from the opposition outside of the chapel chanting slogan against the president's stay out of the country and all that kind of stuff. And it was all political, and nobody made a big deal out of it. But just the thing here, remember, in response to my fellow panelist, Mr. Jones, that said this thing started with the vice president. No, it didn't start with the vice president. And I think Mr. Suri trying to make correction of that. It started on James Barney of the NPP, the breakaway faction of the NPP that now support Joseph Boakai bid for presidential bid. James Barney mobilized E. Darrell Dillon and Yundin Kanka and some other fellows, Warren Brown, mobilized some staffer, including outsiders of the Capitol building, to bring down a short-term president. I think the very day Moses Akara Gray had a press briefing with what it caused closing argument, and he said they do not have the strength, and they come and to want to trouble. We got a majority at the fifth, and I think there will be a response, and they did come out with their response to that. But that's not even the point. The reality that we saw today in Liberia is another trickery, is another failed attempt from the opposition to make this government to look ugly, and also to give sympathy to President Weah among the Zimbabweans. Sympathy among Prince Johnson among the Zimbabweans. This is what happened. James Barney, the so-called youth people you saw over there from the NPP, they didn't say CDC or Congress of Democratic Team. Those people you saw over there, they are members of the NPP James Barney faction. It was plan. Yesterday. Hold
on 1 second. I want to get you not just want to mean to the audience. Why you are telling us now the folks that show up today are the faction wing of James Barney NPP? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because
where are you getting that? Where are you getting that information from? Is that what is secure? Oh, not
my source is telling me. My source is telling me, and you will hear in the coming days if there will be any inquiry into that, even though they didn't violate any law in Liberia. It was out there doing a protest. They
violated laws.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Hold on. There are plenty of methods so that the Zimbabweans can start rallying around Prince Johnson to give him more sympathy, because Prince Johnson now is losing grip in Lima County.
Okay, hold on. Let me hold you right there. Let me bring in Kev.
Okay, go ahead.
Kev.
Yeah. Let me bring in Kev. Let me name first.
Let the flight touch down now, because I'm anxious. I want to get some information.
So seriously. So James Barney and the Unity Party group strategized that they will create an atmosphere where they will gain more traction due to sympathy. They started with Naomi Kanga on a gallery in Buchanan. The next day, they go Prince Johnson home. CDC did not. CDC had no connection to this because the chairman didn't even know that a CDC youth wing were going over to Prince Johnson Church to carry on such demonstration. CDC don't operate in isolation.
Okay, let me hold you there. I didn't say that. Let me bring you in, Kev, here, and I'll go back to the group. Kev, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. For me, I like to get the information, and I know you always get information. There seems to be it is a convoluted one here, and I'm a little bit confused. Keto, who also supported GOL, is telling us it is a faction wing of the NPP by James Barnett, not the NPP. When we did hear on tape that these people that were going there to defend their political leaders because Prince Johnson said he was going in the church to respond to Vice President Joe Howard Taylor. So let me ask this question. I'm waiting to see whether it will be any investigation, if it's anything worrying investigation. So let me ask you too as well. Are you also hearing the same information Mr. Keto is telling us now, maybe from the security or GOL? Are those people, have they established the identity of those people? Are they from the James Banning wing or from Joel Howard Taylor's NPP?
Well, I'm not disputing what Keto is saying, but I don't have that information. Maybe he does, but I don't have that information as I speak. He's saying in the coming days it will come out, but I don't have that information right now. I know as a party, we put out a statement. We condemn any violence on any Liberian, but we also cognizant of the right of every Liberian to assemble peacefully, and that's what we say as a party, and that's what we're looking at. If you come and assemble peacefully, it's your right under our constitution. But let me go to this. Darius Dillon used the word, I will storm the president convoy. A sitting senator. It's a national security threat there. That what Darius Dillon said. While the opposition said nothing. Darius Dillon went to SKD, to the stadium. The president was already seated. And he wanted to go in. And the security said, look, you can go in, but you can't take your security with you around the president's security. He hired security with military fatigue. I'll go back to that video. And Darius Dillon made a threat. He said, when I go, I bring my people, everything will scatter here.
So,
opposition praised that. Opposition praised that. A few guys under 30 went to with a placard and just war crime, and the whole country talking about this like if you don't know, you would think that those guys were gone. We're gone. The whole country just saying on the opposition side, this is wrong, this is this. But where are the condemnation of the sitting senator who said I will storm the president convoy?
Okay, Kev, for us here at LPR, we did frown on that. Not just only Darius Dillon, the argument, the manner, the context, in even Representative Kaluba, in as much in making sense, have reason for some of the argument, his expression. We frown on all of those. But what I'm hearing from you seems to be is like a payback because of these other things that are happening. That's why you are trying to equip it to.
No, it's not a payback. It's not a payback. That's why as a party, we condemn violence, but we did not see any violence today. That's what we're saying. Yeke Kolba marched on the street with men with military style.
Both sides doing that. Both sides. Do you think
people? Do you condemning? No, what I'm saying is the opposition. I'm not talking about you at the show because I listen to you. You being balanced. I'm listening to you all the time. But I'm just saying, as the opposition black, when Yeke went on Spoon and said, "Look, I get," he showed all his military style beret and all these things, and he put men and women wearing the military style and march on the street. Who condemned that? The opposition. Nobody condemned that. When you see few boys that are going to church at the doorstep of the church,
how can you say few?
And
come on.
And then the whole country gone into prison.
Men who say I will buy gun and I will attack the president and all this stuff.
All of these things here, before I go to, okay, hold on one second. Before I go to Amos Joyce, do you think all of these things, what is happening, coming from the opposition to the GOL, the scenarios, the analogy, or whatever you want to put it, the vice president, do you think that was, is it because of politics? Don't you think it was part of it's a recipe to a potential confusion?
You see, that's what I have problem with. She, what she said, what the vice president said, nothing wrong with it when the opposition says there's similar things, they don't see it as anything. But when the vice president says something,
should the government conduct herself like the opposition?
No, but Prince Justin is a government too. It's the first branch of the government. He
Yes.
says a lot of things. Prince Justin talk about people want to kill him. The president is a killer.
The vice president is member of the first branch, the executive branch of government that conducts the day-to-day affairs in charge of the security and everything.
Part of the first branch of government. He's a senior senator. Remember who is Prince Johnson? Why would not hearing George Bush and all the other guys they're talking things? Why Prince Johnson always between that war and that killing and that war and that killing? I think we all old enough to know that Prince Johnson has found the same war thing. He fled the country and came back with what we're having today.
Okay, before I go to Emma Joyce,
he's not in no moral ground to speak on of killing this person kid. Come on, man.
So quickly before I go to my panel to ask a question, should GOL launch an investigation to establish the identities of those that show out there? Who are they, where they're from, and who interests they represent? Do you want an investigation to be launched?
Government should not investigate any peaceful citizen who assembled peacefully. They didn't commit no crime.
Okay.
Why will you investigate somebody who did not commit crime?
All right. Okay. Well, so we accept views and opinion here. Guys, who got another question?
Let me my thought. Kev, let me remind you. I don't know the memory span, but let me remind you. That was the one you mentioned. It was CDC that attacked that was the one at the time. And that provocation, that one when they made that statement that if they attack again, it will stone the president come forward. On this very platform here, the tapes are there, who condemn the action of Darusdale. And Darusdale was forced to make an apology. But this moral equivalent you try to make, and you're dingling around it, you don't want to make, but you're making moral comparison. That if this group do it, and this group do it, then no need to talk. And I'm telling you, it is wrong. You support your CDC, that is your right. But what you see here is a complete fallacy. There's no truth in it. You people, when Yeke Koba was having a children's birthday party that December, the Assistant Minister for Justice went and attacked Yeke Koba. What did the government do? When Mr. Alexander Common was in Grand Gita with Yeke Koba, he was attacked. What did the government do? Jefferson Kochi led a group of young men in Barnesville, Ghana Estate, that cried election. What did your government do? So when you come here to say this, you must say to those people who don't know what is happening in Liberia. So I just want to make that point. What you see here is no justification. You don't go on people's property and cause noise there. Maybe you don't know the difference between a private property and a public property. Even I repeat it, let me repeat myself. If you go to a public property and you misbehave, they'll ask you to leave. That's why if you go to somebody's private property, even if you are invited and you misbehave, they have the right to ask you to leave. So get that clear. When you want to demonstrate, you stay outside.
Okay. Let me go to careful on 1 second. You come careful on 1 second. You hold on, you come on. Let me go to Dr. Toto. We are running out of time in the next 15 minutes. Dr. Toto, any question or observation?
Just a little observation. I think Kev tried to play the politics out of the whole stuff here. Talking about giving all the finances in there when it comes to Prince Johnson. Just few months ago, a few years ago, we saw when Prince Johnson and CDC were lying the same bed together. And to them, Prince Johnson was the best person that ever happened to me in Liberia. And just because they are Prince Johnson now, opposite side now they know that Prince Johnson have been a problem in Liberia in terms of war crime, those that they didn't preach for. We President we had some time ago when he said that why not only war crime court when people advocating for war crime court at that time when he and Prince Johnson were kind of sharing the same ideology. And it's very unfortunate for our colleague from Waiton Canada to come on the issue of the military of politics in there about James Barney group, but also it's very unfortunate Canada for you to military in there. I don't expect that for you.
Keto, let's give a second chance before I go to Marley Jones. Was that a slip of tongue?
I'm telling you, this is not slip of tongue. This is very real. And let me say something. So I heard my own pop saying that talking about Darrell Zeno incident that occurred. I was doing the campaign of 2020. Don't forget, it was Darrell Zeno's own supporters who were wearing a blue t-shirt in a hall that tried to approach him to read me. And then the LPR blue because they thought it was a sedition. Because people were having another rally across the way on the other side. So everything went together and Darrell Zeno went to the airwave and started being so disrespectful and rude and threatening. And only to find out that it was his own supporter. But we don't talk about that. We only say, the stuff of church never did on. The battle of this thing you're talking about, it was photo shoot. So when they shot this, they put arms and stuff in Jefferson Coaching here with men with machetes, and it made it look like it was real. So it was never happened. But just these are all designed to make this government look bad. And what I'm trying to tell you here, right? Even though people say it is the right for people to go and protest. Yeah, I agree. It is the right for people to go and protest, but you can't go to private property to protest. But what I'm telling you, is a fact.
Your man can't put that in.
George, let's give him a chance of finishing that we can.
Can gain political sentiment in the country to come back and control the Nevadans again, so they can start loving him. That's all they did it for.
So, okay, Marley Jones.
Can we take some calls for our guests?
Okay, yeah. So if other people, okay, let me put it. Yeah, all right. Let me pull the LPR number up yet. Other people. Yeah, okay. Let's see. I think I get a number here. After the number, I'll come to you, Marley Jones, and then in the next 15 minutes, we're going to be wrapping up. 763 number 7242.
Yes, hello, Mr. Soul, and hello to your panelists. This is Elvis from Minnesota.
Elvis, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Yes, gentlemen, I must say I'm a little bit disappointed in your tone in terms of the way you guys are taking this, peaceful protest. Now, I heard Mr.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to emerge other call.
And
then you.
Okay. On private property. If somebody is trespassing with property, Prince Johnson and his people, they have the right to call the police to escort those people off the property. But the fact that they were protesting against the war crime court, I think for most Liberians, whether in the opposition or the ruling party, this should be now the order of the day because this government hasn't put any effort in terms of implementing the World Economic Crimes Court. They should do the same thing to somebody like George Bullitt. They should do the same thing to anybody who we know, especially those who are in positions of power, who are alleged to have participated in the war. Whether they're holding ministerial posts or deputy posts or managerial posts, government people should go there. Let the government come and tell the people that it's not their right to peacefully protest outside of somebody's office or outside of somebody's fence, even though you're not on the property. That is, the Bible says, whatever a man sows, so shall he reap.
Okay,
these guys have been too comfortable for many years. After some of the things that they've done, they've been too comfortable.
Okay,
so I think what they was the right thing.
Okay, Everett, quickly before I let you go, other people calling. So it seems to me it was just like a coincidence today with this war crime court protest with Dr. Prince Johnson service hour. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not a coincidence. The reality is that Joel Howard Taylor didn't commit war crimes. She didn't kill anybody as far as we know. So if you're associating her with her husband for political reasons, that's fine. That's a fair game. But Prince Johnson was saying on camera, Prince Johnson was saying doing things by eyewitnesses who are still alive today, allegedly. So when people are calling for these things for Prince Johnson, this is not the first time. Prince Johnson said people have been threatening him with war crime court for a very long time. So it's not new. He knows this. Whether it's in front of his house or on the internet that we all cry and call for war crime court.
Okay.
But my point here is it shouldn't just be Prince Johnson. People from my side, people from the other side, people from his side, we should all be calling for war crime courts for anybody that was involved in the war. It shouldn't be selective. That's the point that I'm making. But thank you guys. I think you guys should also be calling for that war crime court, irregardless of what political implication it might have.
You know this network here. Thank you so much, Elvis. Okay, let me go to this. Who is it? 612-3168. Is that Elvis or who's that?
That's Terry. How you doing, sir?
Okay, fine. Okay, Kevin. Let me see here. Let's exhaust this one, then the guys we can wrap it up so you will put a cap on the head. Okay, yeah. Terry, go ahead.
Yeah, you see, the
line is full now.
They are very hypocritical. You getting me, Mr. So?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go ahead. Go to the line. It's full, so you gotta wait. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, the solutions are very hypocritical. I listened to the guy saying that particular crowd was a setup and blah, blah, blah. First of all, these guys were well attired and they stood their ground and said that they was invited because PYJ spoke to the leader, which was Joel Howard Taylor. And the guy admitted that the group came from the coalition. They were the coalition. All right, that is clear. By the journalist, he told the journalist that it's very clear. And the contradiction is, how can you be protesting for war crime court at Prince Johnson Church? Like to say, Prince Johnson is the only one involved into war crimes.
Okay, let's leave it at quickly. There are other lines, people cutting us, so we'll wrap up.
Yeah, and and then your government is the one in power. You the one supposed to effect the war crime court. Why you will be protesting when your government is the one in power who have the responsibility to implement the war crime code? So
thank you so much.
They went to disrupt people from going to service, which is a serious crime against poor citizens who want to worship God. You threatened them and made the people to run away, then kept saying that is not a crime. Something got to be wrong with these guys.
Thank you so much. Okay, Kevin, let me see here. I hope I can merge here. Okay. Okay. Gibson Gerald.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother.
Let's hear you.
For me, all of the issues you guys have discussed are very genuine, and I respect everyone's opinion on this. There's one thing that you guys have not touched on, which has to be Prince Johnson indirect instruction to his followers to carry out violence. Those people, those rebel leaders, they don't have to tell their followers and say, go kill the person. But they can say something and their followers will definitely see or know exactly what their boss wants. And that is exactly what Prince Johnson did in our press conference. If I tell my boys to attack you too, then I'm in trouble. I don't want it. But he's actually telling his boys to attack. Right. Is he not right?
Yes.
So when you come next time, they will beat you and pray outside, but we don't want it. No, that's not what you're saying. He's trying to say that he's telling his boys to respond with violence.
So in a sense, proportional force.
If I put my journalism hat, I don't see nothing wrong with that. The only thing that's wrong is the guy shouldn't have entered the compound. He should have stayed outside the compound. And I think Mr. George, I think you said it earlier. You cannot go into the compound. You can stay outside in the government area. That's the only problem I see. But protesting, there's no private area for politicians. There's no private area for politicians. Your bedroom is vulnerable to the public because you are a public figure. You saw the Republican senator, minority leader, was in a restaurant and they put him and he had a wife and they ran me out of there. There's no private area for politicians. So Prince Johnson should not complain and say, oh, it's my private domain. No, there's no private area for politicians. But if I wear my opposition hat, anything that makes George Weah not to be president, I'm going for it. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Gibson Gerald. Will on this network does not in any way represent the management. So let me go to the one here, 712 guys, and we're going to wrap it up. I'm trying to exhaust this line here. 717 number 2909. You there, caller? What's your name and where you calling from?
This is James Day calling from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Let's hear from you quickly, James.
I listen to several people like Mr. Gerald. I'm surprised that you were a journalist. You should know the root, how the problem started. Prince Johnson been having a service over there for how many years? Nobody go there to say we want war council. The only time when Joy Howard made that statement that Jeremiah Kuhn going to be the president, and she forgetting to know when Joe Weah died too, that Chancellor will become president. She forgetting to know that one. That Chancellor say control her. She know that one. She was the second in command. She was the wife of the president. When Chancellor was killing people, what advice to get to her husband? She didn't know about her husband when Chancellor calling people hands and what she told her husband. She didn't have those men, she was eating the money. They didn't have houses with it, and some of the houses she rented to embassies. So why is she accusing Prince Johnson one? Who Prince Johnson? She talked about her husband? That Prince Johnson is labor. The Joy Howard woman. Because she was what? The chief, the wife of Chancellor, the Takana. And she said them call Takana too.
All right. So thank you so much. They pay there, you do me, I do you, sit there. Okay. Let me see. I mean, we're not taking no phone call now. We gotta close up in 9 minutes here.
I don't want to say something. I don't want to say a word.
Who's that?
Vincent.
Which number are you calling from, Vincent?
2214.
You said 221. Okay, yeah, go ahead quickly. So I'll bring in.
First of all, thank you for the show. I always follow your show. I really love your contribution for Liberian people. But let me say something. You know, so some of your friends on the show, they're not fair to the Liberian people. We want to say a thing that makes you understand. Don't take one side. Although some of us support the government, will condemn what happens today, but in the sense that you can look at a lot of people like this stuff and look at it.
Let me hold you, Vance, let me hold you right there. You say you condemn?
I condemn.
Why?
I support the government, but I condemn it.
Why?
But in the sense that we all condemn it, but you gotta be fair in a sense to see other people that what they did and condemn it. The first thing about the capital building, the opposition, the first time we went the capital building and call those people all around, I ain't wearing the capital building and call it office staff.
It was wrong.
Those boys are in that place, someone had I ain't working there. But they went there because of the play and they went there. We saw all those things they were talking there. Just sat down there, you're not even say a word to them. You're crazy. You're making a song, you're making a music, everybody saying that. But when somebody went do the same thing, they will condemn it. This thing has been happening all through. You can't look at it. Look at being fair to Nigerian people. When a thing go against your favor, don't call it up. Make it a same way. When you go against your favor, speak it out. Let people know that you not like it. Let people know.
Thank you so much.
I really want to be fair and don't take politics aside. When something happens, be true to the Nigerian people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody protects his or her own alligator. There we go. Koto, are you there? Koto, are you there?
I'm there.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys so much and see that I just wanted to throw this light on this, where they are saying that these guys have a right to go and call for war crime court to Prince Johnson. Then the question comes to mind that why is it that Prince Johnson was with them? They had the opportunity to call for war crime court, and they decided that they were not ready for war crime court. Does that mean that since Prince Johnson is not with them now, they are ready for the war crime court? Is that what you're saying? Because I'm so surprised, kept have been supporting that the war crime court should not be prioritized now, is advocating for war crime court. That people, if it happens now, that people are going to start asking Prince Johnson for war crime court. But again, what comes to mind is I say now that what happened, P.Y. Johnson should not have gone behind his pulpit. But it fails to know that the very person that we have goes behind the pulpit to address national issues instead of facing his people that he's serving to address issues. He goes behind his pulpit. What becomes of him? So everybody now that go and talk politics, will they be going to everybody's houses or everybody ever start attacking them? Or so it's going to be chaotic. This is not a conducive political atmosphere. We should be able to be in a public gathering, go to a public gathering and chant, but you don't go to an individual house and chant, and you're saying that that's politics. When they start going to everybody's houses, you know where you're going to be. And the government always doing that. They should be protecting the citizens. But if they start to do it, then what's happening is it becomes chaotic. That's my own contribution I have to give on that. Thank you so much for allowing me.
Thank you so much. Okay, the guys on the phone, let's conclude and then you guys can make your closing statement. Let's cut out Keto, who wants to go first?
Yeah, let me just go first, then Kevin.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it in a minute. We are already.
I stand by my statement I made. This is a complete strategy, a planned strategy to make this government to be unpopular, to give Prince Johnson the leverage again in my county among the Nimbalians. We have seen it happen over and again. And like Koto said, there's not the same trick from the opposition that every little thing, the government is the one that's doing it. So how the government will be in the driving seat to keep us up? How the government will be shooting us in the leg all the time? We ain't crazy. We ain't stupid yet. Prince Johnson and James Barney and the rest of the Unity Party people strategize this whole thing, draw all faction of the MPP, not CDC, MPP, James Barney MPP faction or supporters went to Prince Johnson Church to make it look like the entire coalition is against Prince Johnson or whatever to give him more political strength in Lima County or supporting Lima County. And that's the fact in the day go, yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to our visiting guest, Mr. Kev Hassan. Kev, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So, yeah, I know before you to do your statement, I'm a glue to, I don't let things go. A long time I extended you an invitation. For us on this network here, we have guys who pick up, but we don't strangulate people with their views, with their opinion. We try to go beyond the borderline. When will you show face here? I want us to have a conversation here vis-a-vis. Is that something you can?
Yeah, I will do that very, very soon. Very, very soon. I will.
Do you have to get
I will shoot you. I will shoot you a text and then, but very, very soon.
You need a consent to do that?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, just
you see, we are approaching the election now. So we will be all over. We will be all over.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Okay, we'd love to do that. We'll give you the opportunity, certainly.
I definitely will come on. Definitely. Take my word. Definitely will come on.
And then maybe through you, we can have some of the big guns. Okay, but let's hear from you here. Let's put politics aside and insert the bigger picture, the holistic one here. I heard your other colleagues, sedition, say they condemn. So let me ask you, do you condemn what happens today in as much as we're exercising the civil liberties?
Let me say this to you. Going in private property, I think private property should be private property. But again, Prince Johnson did a post He called the public. It's a church. It's not his house. It's a church. And church is for the public. That's where everybody goes. Everybody go. Whether you disagree with the message or you agree with the message, everybody go. You know, what the Bible says or what Jesus said, come as you are. Right? So I may be preaching in a different church, but he said, come as you are. So the church is a place for everybody. He did a post. He said, everyone are welcome. Okay? Okay. Some people go there and disagree with you. No, it's a crime. You invited them. You, Prince Johnson, you did that.
Oh, it was an open invitation. Is that what you're saying? So everybody decided to go to worship.
Yes, it was open invitation. The post there. You can put it up. You can read it. He said, everybody. He said, I'm going to be responding to Madam Taylor. Everybody welcome.
Okay.
And people went there. But again, I'm not talking about war crime code or no war crime code. I'm just what I'm saying is that we can debate that. We can talk about that. But the same right other people have to protest.
Okay. Before I let you go, right? So I hate to do supposition here, but I like to go much deeper into the minds of the people. Let's assume one of these days some sort of statement or some group of people decide to show up at the president's choice with our open invitation. Will we accept that equally, proportionally?
If a Liberian go outside the president's church and peacefully assemble and then say something, right? According to our constitution, as a human, I would say, oh, why are you going there? But according to our constitution, they do have the right to protest peacefully. Peaceful assembly is well in our constitution. That the problem I get with the opposition, if the other side do it, it's a problem. The other side do it, they call you a hero. Imagine if you
Mr. Hassan, let's leave it there.
Let me just end with this one. Imagine if you get Coliban was supporting the government and using this language of what Coliban saying. Well, Amos George and others will be saying today. That's the country.
If you want to have that debate, come on the show. If you want to have that debate, come on the platform or invite me to your platform.
Mr. George, I think we are far above that. Yeah, but you are in the public space here. You take sides. People got to call it. They will agree and disagree with you.
Let me come on the platform so we can have the debate.
Yeah, but let's do it this way. You know you guys know the rule of LPR. We shouldn't be like these other people. Whether we agree or disagree with people, you are analysts. You make yourself vulnerable equally to some of these things in as much we disagree, but there's a way we can do it. Okay, Kev, thank you so much for chipping in. I'm looking forward to having that conversation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Guys, we sign off for this. We try to represent, and I know we need to put us some time bulletproof jacket here. People will try to go under your skin, but we are about to go. This is what I've been saying here. For those of you who get a pick, this tendency is always there. Everybody protect his or her own alligator. I don't know. This is why Mali June doesn't want to make a pick too. He's still hanging like a hanging guardian, but at some point in time, we'll get to know who he is. But yeah, we are. Kev Hassan, other folks, they are arguing. They say it's an open invitation. Dr. Toto, is that a valid point? Is that how, when you even go to an open invitation, then you use the open invitation to do other things? What are we hearing?
I think Kev and the other guy that went on, they kind of missing the one point when it comes to the peaceful assembly they're talking about. Why is it true that the Constitution gave you the right for a peaceful assembly, but it also require you to have a permit for the just administration? So the group that turned out to want to rather be one look at the
technical, right?
The legal side of it, be more technical. They have a permit to assemble to the pre-judgment church or even outside the street they had a permit to do that? No. So they were completely wrong today. We condemn all sides to the violence. The point we're trying to put in the panel is here tonight is the violent aspect of it.
Right.
Even our own side, even my own or party LPP that I support or community one governor said, if anything goes wrong, we'll come up or we will condemn for that. And that's why we should aim to support. We continue to say that Liberia, even though we join democracy in Liberia, but our democracy is very fragile.
It comes to responsibility as well.
And this vice president have a history of making reckless statements. And that is not healthy for our democracy. So when anything happens, we should condemn it. We should not just allow the law because we feel that it will support that party that we don't get it and Kev Hassan doing tonight.
Thank you so much, Dr. George Toto, Senior Analyst of the Liberia Public Radio base in Pittsburgh. We say welcome and let us do the Amos George of the Alternative National Congress. Let's hear your closing argument.
Oh, let me repeat this thing again. And Jerry Cohen said something. If the house, the room of any public official is public, then you just walk to the White House and go to Joe Biden's room. It's not public. When you go to the mansion, the White House, they got a gate there. You stay out there, you stand there with your placard. You don't enter that premises without a permission. So that we should not be trying to confuse our people's mind with what is private. If I'm government official, so my room is a public domain, anybody can walk in it. No. If someone is living in a house, that is the private property. You stand outside, about 15 feet outside on the sidewalk, it is government place. Nobody will bother you. Let's get this thing clear. What the people did was absolutely wrong. You went on the man premises. If you are invited there, you misbehave, they should ask you out. An invitation is not something that you go and behave any way you want to. So we have to set the thing straight. And this moral equivalent that Captain are making, it just don't hold. Demonstration is guaranteed, is enshrined within the Constitution. But that demonstration comes with responsibility. That I cannot just go and jump on someone's property because I disagree with you. No. On the public street, the law of Liberia says you should ask the Minister of Justice to provide you security. Because why? They don't want you to obstruct other people moving who don't have anything to what you're doing. All these things were in no, and you come here to justify it. Okay? If the ANC had done so, I would have been one of the first person to come here to condemn it. Because if we talk about to set the rules for people to follow, then we have to hold our own accountable. You said down here, you said, oh, George, we are outside the church premises. No, these people went, Mr. Sokocha, if they go into the church premises, which of course nobody will do because the president had 24-hour security, they will not even allow those people to enter the church premises to cause any demonstration. They will not allow them. That is the difference. And even if they went there upon invitation, they must lay within the confines of the rules that govern that premises. That's a private property. So if you go anybody, if I come to your house, I must abide by the rules that you have set for your house, even though you invited me. And if I cross the line, you can ask me to leave. If I don't, you can call the police. So let us try to educate our people. We should not mess the thing up. That freedom has no limitation. Please, George, we are going to church and insult other people. Do you people frown on it? No. Just say it's okay. Someone on the platform we are saying I support your but I do not agree with his language sometimes.
Okay, let's leave it there, Pa George. Thank you so much. Jones Malley. So here, what's going to happen here tonight? You have to decide. We need to know who you are, what you represent before we can leave. Gentlemen, can that vote pass into motions?
No,
Let's June establish it.
No obligation. He's not on no obligation. I will vote against it. It is
He's a bonfire all day. He even went for me to make my case. Why? He said no. Okay, maybe Dr. Toto can vote for it. Okay. So, Mama Jones. So here is the situation. The opposition, the government, whoever everyone protect his or her own people way of doing things and give an arguable point. What are we hearing?
Yes. Well, my message to Mr. Hassan and Mr. Kether, who are on record for being overzealous Daha of the ruling party, which of course I must congratulate them for really standing up. I just want to say two things here. We cannot compare apples to oranges. The ruling party is the ruling party. It is heading the Republic of Liberia. It is a government. And so, if Mr. Hassan is saying because of A and therefore B, my brother should know one thing. The ruling party has got a lot to lose when it comes to image building.
Right.
So the ruling party should always be in the business of protecting her image no matter what. A lot of people are looking up to the ruling party. So if Mr. Hassan is saying because you kick my toes, so I will kick your legs, that does not augurs well for a ruling party. Yes. And that's the reason why action from the opposition to the ruling party are condemned it in the strongest term. All the undermining from Dillon and all whatsoever opposition it is to the ruling party are condemned in the strongest term. Vice versa, the ruling party should be like an elder in the room. Instead of throwing stone, call the people you sit down and talk. You see, I think this is where we're coming from, Mr. Hassan. So I know a Daha is a Daha. You can't prepare to go with anybody in the coffin. I understand that. But equally so, you are a ruling government. You don't throw stone. When something happens, come like a father. Just start the issue. Yes. What happened today around Prince Johnson's chair or in his compound, it was not a demonstration. It wasn't a demonstration, it was a provocation. If that demonstration, anything had taken place on Broad Street, you talking about war crime code, I know by then you would have gotten permission to go there. I would have had no problem here. But looking at the proximity of that demonstration, they has the called it to the main church. And look at the origin of the vice president's statement. You see, there where I'm really coming from. And I think the panelists will agree with me. We are not concerned about the scenario that unfolded today. We are concerned about the aftermath. There where we're really coming from. Prince Johnson people would have come today, it would have been a war, someone would have lost his or her life. I think there where we're really coming from. So the government should not be in the business of paying back. The government should be in the business of settling peace and not differences. Thank you.
Gentlemen, the best of analysts.
Let me just close it 1 second. Let me just recognize some of our panelists. I mean, not the panelists, some of our listeners, supporters, or your radio land. When I was in Liberia, I came across 2 of our supporters. They came to me. They they recognized me and said, "Hey, one of the LPR there." I said, "Yes." So there are people that they stay on late. They watch the show. I want to recognize them.
Can you read this from Mr. Samway, Joshua M. Samway? I can't. My glasses not letting me to read well.
The so-called Sidician brothers to dispute the fast again.
That's what I love about this network here. We allow people to exercise.
You see, you got a position and you always denying it. Yeah, it has been confirmed on you now.
What's that?
You got a position, you always deny, but someone just confirmed a position on you.
I do not have control over people's views, their opinion. He's not. I mean, Mr. Samway, he has the right. He has the right to speak his mind. That's not an insult.
I'm just seeing someone just confirm a position on you. I ain't complaining.
And I say I accept it.
Okay. We'll move
I
on.
accept it. Who don't want to sit down with the king table? Who don't want to eat with the king?
Everybody.
I wish they can call me. But what I did with bring me there, that's another thing. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for your time, and I hopefully we can do it. This is a serious issues, and we need to discuss it. We want to thank you so much for beautiful conversations. Dr. Toto, we miss you. We said you are wholeheartedly welcome. Thank you so much. Molly Jones, thank you. Amos George, where is the Libra? The Libra is nowhere to be seen.
You went and put the man. You went and put the man number on the screen. Why they calling the man?
Oh, yeah, they need to call him.
The man calling his private life. You taking the public life to interrupt the man private life.
You heard what Gibson said. The man is a host here. They can go into it. They can go into a number. All right, guys. Good evening. Thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening. Bye bye.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, folks, that does it this evening. I'm Afonso Zian Sot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to thank all of you for your time this evening, this morning, to whatever you are, your views, your opinions. Very much crucial and matters to the growth of our country, whether we agree or disagree. We say thank you so much. And you have all right to also label or call us who you want to call us. Along you now. Causing me, even if you want to cause me, what would that do to me? Actually, not. But what is important for us to allow people to express their views. We do not sanction voices on this network. There's nothing like CDC opposition. This is Liberia Public Radio. And these folks that are here, they are here at their own volitions of those political institutions or people who ideology they buy into. And I can tell you, as a chief angle on this network, there is no way. I used to be, but there is no way. There is no way. Because if I did that, that will undermine the integrity of this network. So we'll try. And this is why our own analysts, our own contributors, we hold them accountable of their work. And we ourselves, as facilitators, we must be held accountable. If Liberia is to be a good nation, people should have the guts to raise their finger even at people who they support. You are at liberty. You are at liberty at all times to support who you want to support. What matters is a support is limited or it compromises the interest of the country. That's what is the focal point, and that's what we should be discussing. And I've come to realize in this business that I've been in for a little while now, everyone tries to protect his or her own alligator, giving arguable justifications of the doings of their people or their organization or institution they profess to love. So it means it's like we have entered into this visual, like a cycle now. You did it the last time we do it, and now you want to talk. That's not how a government and that's not how a country is built. People must be held accountable. And I made that crystal clear here. As a sitting government, you have a greater portion to lose than that of the opposition. You are there to govern to protect lives and property. And why I still don't understand that, maybe there's a reason, and I will give an opportunity, hopefully to one of these days, again, the vice president will give me an opportunity to have a conversation. Maybe I need to call Vanny Besigit or Reese and all of those people, how this decision came to a point. It reminds me of Maswa Kaba, the day of NDPL, when he was the youth wing chairman of the NDPL. They go all out there and do things. Who gonna be on the losing end when, for any reason, there was a proportional force coming from Prince Johnson or his supporters or people who were at the church there today? Who gonna come in? All of these things stressed the government. It's a waste of resources. We are not having the conversation we're supposed to have. The distractions is just way over the top. No one knows these people economic, infrastructural, education, health policy. But we are drowned into the silliness, the distractions purposely created by these politicians so that you and I will be distracted. Unfortunately, to you, some of you supporters, you embrace it, you welcome it, and you celebrate it. And then tomorrow, when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, you come right back here to tell us to say, knowing what I know. This is why we have people like Eugene Fagon who did not do their due diligence. And we will begin to call these people out, their mischief, their subliminal messages, falsehood. Yesterday, they were in defense, pulling all the bulletproof jacket, and they defend this government to their belly button. Here they are. How can I trust these people of their judgment? I can't, because there's nothing evidence to prove that. Running from one party to a party, running from one organization to another organization, simply because they are seeking political accommodation. And nothing wrong with seeking for political accommodation. Nothing wrong with even working for a government, a country that you are born in. What is important, your authenticity and the honesty. Is it government? Are you working for your party, or are you working for your government? Or are you working for your country? Who can we make reference to that of the late Senator John McCain? The man who said, not party, but I'll put my country first, and was in his dying bed, went on Capitol Hill and gets thumbs down for something that he strongly believes in. How many of our politicians willing to take political risk? Not. They only become strong or louder when they are exercised or when they are out of the system. When they are there, the system is perfect, it's 100% perfect. Nothing, you would never hear them. Is that a country that we want to have? Lack of political tolerance is eating the fabric of our democracy. And this is why some of us frown on the creations of all of these auxiliary. They are all looking for accommodations, and none of these political leaders, they are telling us as to how these people, what going to become of them. Do you think these people put their backpack, they're all in the streets sweating like a Christmas goat? Do you think they don't want to be in government? Of course. And we do understand government is a higher employer in the country. So you think you're going to do it after all of this, you're going to dash them? I want to know how government going to be downsized. The spending of government is just way over the top. We saw that CDC came and oversized the government because all of their supporters. So the probability of even Joseph Boyka, Alexander Cummings, and all the other people, they will do the same. Because these people, they need political reward. And political reward is the accommodations in government. They want to go to LPR-TV, they want to go to MPA, Freeport, or how they call it, say, rubber fee or whatever, which of course. But their inability to even call out one of their own is staggering. That brings me to the point, putting the country on edge ahead of 2023. The warning signs are glaring. Politicians, the soundbite, the red meat, the innuendos, the subliminal messages, the falsehood. We are literally in a Trump war, and everybody is defending his or her own alligator. We are not going to lose hope. This is a political ploy by these oppositions, by the government, by so-called advocates to keep us distracted, not to feed into the bite. We'll try to keep the focus. And this is why here we do not sanction voices. No voice is soured in our ears on the LPR. Whether you disagree with us or you agree with us, we strongly feel that every Liberian, every voice must be heard. The ability and always the habit of shopping things down to throat of people get us to be where we are. We only want to hear things that we feel comfortable with. That's not what we do here. Sometimes we say it. You have the right to tell me who I am. That does not necessarily suggest that I am the person. Your views, I cannot question your opinions, your views. They are not facts, and you are at liberty to express that, of course. And we wholeheartedly welcome that. This is what makes us Liberia Public Radio. If this is the first time, well, if we did not meet your expectation today in our talking point, what? This is who we are. We say hopefully, but it's not guaranteed that we're going to play into your body. You are most welcome here. Next time, hopefully we will do better. Invite someone, follow us live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and our YouTube channel as well. Subscribe so that you'll be able to get on the live. If you want to be a panelist or analyst on this network, put on your thick skin jacket and be like me. We will wholeheartedly welcome you. Let's listen to some of the distractions from some of the political leaders, people who are supposed to lead the way through.
It is easy. It is very easy for you. Now you are even ashamed before you and your minion will go and say all kinds of things. You are ashamed. Now you're saying that I took money from commies. Well, let me.
This is what happened with two bodies and people who once upon a time used to agree when they fall apart, all of the things come out in the air. This is not the independent
Thank you. My name is Jimmy. To the introduction.
My name is Peter Sekachiko Bliri Jr., the National Vice Chair for Press and Propaganda, ABB Youth Council. I'm here with former Adelaide Jimmy Tobe. Jimmy Tobe is the Secretary General of the MPP Youth Council. We here because Senator.
So where did our own LPR, Wharton Kettle, get this information that these are the faction wing of James Barney? It's coming from out of them. Said they are in defense of the vice president because he, Prince Johnson, who have given to reporters to the vice president accusation. So where is it coming from? We are waiting to see if there's an investigation. Kev Hassan said there should be no investigation because there was no wrongdoing. Well, we don't know yet. We'll wait and see if anything like alluded by Prince Johnson, that people were wounded. We yet to verify the authenticity of that news. We don't just break it here because we want to break it. We must tell you there are a lot at stake. 141 days to go. We yet to discuss the future of our country. I want to thank you so much for being here. But interestingly, we intend to have no one left behind. So this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern in the first segment, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to be hosting two of my beautiful nieces, Sarah Simon, her tower, she's married, Jaretta Conan, also a young lady, smart Harvard graduate. They have their own podcast. This is all more like in the family. Sis Please podcast. They're going to be visiting here for the first time right here on the Liberia Public Radio here. How they got to this point here. Let me show you a little bit sample of what they do, and we're going to have a conversation here. They're going to be joining me here this Friday. I'm going to see how it looks like. Let's see here. Sis Please podcast is on Spotify.
But the reality for a lot of us today is that as a Black family, when you're upwardly mobile and live an upper middle class lifestyle, it often means that we're the only ones in majority white spaces. And sometimes that upward mobility comes at the expense of our own psychological safety, sense of belonging, and fears about what it means for our Black children and their, sense of self. Hi, I'm Sada, one of your co-hosts of the Sis Please podcast.
And I'm Jaretta, the other half of the Sis Please podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. So, sis, what's up?
I'm good, just hanging in there. It's funny because for the past few weeks, I've been doing a self-imposed Amazon moratorium. Like, I can't buy anything unless it's essential. And the reason I did this was because I'm doing this
That's Sarah and Jaretta. They have two beautiful nieces here. Sarah is a journalist, creative writer, director, but you gotta know little of them this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How they got to this point, Sis Plays Podcast. You can check them up on YouTube. It's on Spotify as well. We're going to be having them here. We got to bring our young people into the discussions that we are having. Diversity is about to go skyrocket on this network. Until then, folks, I'm Alfonso Z and so the old man on the wall. Time has caught up with us here this evening. So I want to thank you so much for your time here. And this is how we're going to go home here with this beautiful song by a Liberian gospel artist, Minister Alice Nua. I am a traditionalist. It's in a crown dialect. The low that is on our hair, sour low, lying low, mischief, hypocrisy, deceit, bearing false witness, defending false allegations, unable to tell the truth because of political purposes. God has taken the load from out our hair. Thank you so much, Alice, and hopefully we're going to have a conversation. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Zienso, and this is today's editions of LPR-TV Live with the panelists. The panelists are here in full to discuss, dissect, and critical issues affecting our country. All right, that's all we're going to do here. Just taking you to a brain account to this evening. Folks, we want to thank you so much for being with it. Let's get that low of the seat large for who and put the interests of the country first. If you are graduating, your daughter is graduating, you want us to showcase here, we shouldn't just be talking about politics. There are a lot of people are still making a lot of significant progress, wherever they are at. Anything that you think and you're worth sharing with us, you want us to celebrate you here. And this is why we don't wait for politicians to come here. Not that we are not reaching out to them, because we do. But they are skeptical. They want us to send a laundry of lists of questions, and it doesn't work that way. We can share it, outline of our conversation fair enough. And so this is why when we call them, they agree at the end of the day, they talk to their ear eaters and then they turn down. But that is okay. They are at liberty to accept and reject our duty to reach out, and we will continue to reach out. We will not be judgmental into our argument. Make it fair, balanced, and proportionate. We will discuss it, but you are at liberty to reach here, and this is why we do not sanction voices on this network. Thank you so much for sharing your Sunday with us, wherever you are, this morning, this evening, afternoon. If this is the first time, we say we wholeheartedly welcome you on this network. Follow, like, share the page. Send us inbox where we're falling short, where we need to do to improve, and your views as well. I usually go back to the field and read some of the comments because it helps us to enhance our capacity in bringing news information to you. Until then, folks, have a pleasant evening. I am Afonso Zienso, signing off in today's editions of LPR Sunday Edition Live. Bye-bye. Government, it did not meet your core values?
I resign. Before I resign, I issue a 13-page press statement. It's on the internet. If you check, you'll find it. And then the president subsequently called me back into government because at that time, she had sent all the cabinet ministers home for 2 weeks compulsory leave. I was one of those that she called back. And I said, no, I'm not coming back into your government because what I believe you will do is not what you are doing. This country went into civil conflict and over 300,000 people were killed because of bad governance. And I see the same thing
happening,
being done by you. The same thing is happening.
That's why you told the president?
Yes, in a conversation with her. And I said, thank you, but I'm not coming back to the government. Anything good in Liberia. Louis Brown was National Security Advisor to Charles Taylor, man. That was the time I was tortured.
This seems to me ANC now.
Let them be redeeming themselves. They laid the foundation for the suffering that is happening today. No. It's not in good faith. Isn't it the same Louis Brown who said to President Sirleaf, Kennedy president, that no one since 1847 has so desecrated the executive mansion equal to President Kennedy, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It was not even a month after he was appointed to be Minister of Information for that same President Sirleaf. And he was propagating everything. When he was asked by the journalist, he said, you know, when you are far from President Sirleaf, you see a bad woman. When you come close to her, you see a good person. That sounded very opportunistic to me.
For being here, and especially in these difficult times, I thank the Liberian people for their kind attention. All over this country, in every village and town, across every region and community, from mosques to churches, from markets to schools, from prisons to hospitals, across all political parties, ministries, agencies, and institutions of the government, no Liberian needs me to tell them that things are bad and only getting worse.